broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz TV after show for Downton Abbey, the penultimate episode. Excuse me. I'm so overcome that I'm mispronouncing everything. All right, I'm John Comerford. I'm joined in the studio as always by Tamara Berg.
Hey everybody.
And Courtney Stewart.
Hello, hello.
I think I'm golly goose gumdrops. I'm cockahoot because this episode was bananas.
Orange glad.
Yeah,
George
exactly.
was part of it.
Nice. All right, okay, let's just get into this because it really kind of was about this, the dueling sisters. We had the big knockdown, drag-out row that we've been expecting. We got that. Woo. We got all kinds of things. We got a wedding. But I want to start off with the Edith, poor Edith storyline first, if we can. First of all, I loved the way the episode opened with them out in the field.
Walking with their parasols.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
And again, because you guys, I'm going, hey, that parasol matches her outfit. I never would have noticed this before, but
You're welcome, John.
Yes, you've opened my eyes up to a whole new experience now, so I appreciate that.
And Cora's coat. I mean, we'll probably talk more about the fashion later, but absolutely, a lot of you Anglophiles, and you all are. Let's just assume that you are. Looked like a Wedgwood vase.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah,
that
sure.
very classic Wedgwood blue
coloring,
with the white lace trim
absolutely.
on it. That was the first thought in my mind, which I thought was brilliant.
She's so Wedgwood.
She is a bit Wedgwood.
All right, but okay, now half the episode is she going to tell Bertie? Is she not going to tell? What is she going to tell him? Should we tell him?
Everybody's fighting
you should tell him.
And again, we're going through everybody's opinion about it, and I'm going, yes, of course you should tell him. What were you guys thinking? Were you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised they were fighting so much about it. I was like, of course she has to tell him. Like, why is there even a possibility?
Yeah,
that she
well, I mean, but I guess Lord Grantham is saying no, let her tell her if she wants, and Cora's saying no, she has to tell her.
Father.
Because he wants to get her married off. Because that moment though when he's looking at them walking, meaning Cora and Edith, and walking out there, and he's talking to Rosamund, and he just doesn't want her to be hurt. And, he just wants her to have some happiness.
There's almost nothing that will make me cry more than a father-daughter relationship thing.
And he's so Team Edith this season. I love it.
Even at the end, he says how much of all my children she's
the one who surprises me the most.
It was very nice.
Oh, it was nice. All right, but so of course it can't go that way because it's Edith we're talking about, and we were wondering, okay, how is this going to happen? And then, of course, Mary and Tom see the papers, and the Marquess of Hexham dies.
Passed away.
And, everybody's thinking, oh, my God, he's out of a job. No, he's actually not out of a job. He has a whole new position and title. Yeah. And then when Edith announces it to the whole family that, well, actually, he's going to be the new Marquess.
Be the Marquess.
And I just loved, again, Dad's his expression, his reaction to all that golly gumdrops, and he's just so happy for his daughter.
And then Mary,
she's gonna outrank all of them. Oh, I know the look on Mary.
And then Mary, but he won't want to marry her now.
Yeah.
But the look on her when she realizes, wait a minute, I'm going to be outranked.
Right? Yes. By Edith?
Yes. And even when Cora even says that thing, careful, people are going to think you're jealous. You don't want that.
I'm glad everybody called Mary out for the whole
episode. The whole episode was terrific. Yeah, it was great. Because, a lot of people have been wanting that for a long time. Especially Edith. But I'm talking about the audience.
Yes.
They wanted her to get her comeuppance and get off her high horse and all of that stuff.
Yes.
So I want to say Silvana Dill, one of our YouTube watchers, says, I would like to take a bow for predicting that Bertie would rise and inherit just like Matthew Rose. So she said that in episode 3.
Yes.
And I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, but I can remember thinking that when Edith and Bertie, like maybe episode 3, maybe more like 4, were talking, and he was going, "Oh, I'm just an agent," and he's a, he's
but
a
we knew
bachelor.
he was related. Yeah.
Right, but he's a bachelor. I was like, that is important information that I think is going to go Bertie's way. Mm-hmm. So, and good job, Silvana.
Yes, nicely.
Smart move.
And also, because they kept talking about him, and we after she had brought that up to us, we were even talking about it in the podcast. We were saying that that's how Matthew got his inheritance, so it could be possible. So of course this worked in that favor for him, and then after we learned that that's what's going to happen, Edith has that conversation with Rosamund. You have to tell him, and she's saying, well, we're not bound. I haven't answered him yet. I'm going, too bad.
You
had just said yes.
Right, exactly. Had you only said yes last time he was here.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think that her hesitation now is because she didn't trust him, or do you think it was because of the fact that his circumstances have changed?
I think it's both. I mean, I think most of it was still about the residual effect of how is he going to react to the fact that I have this past. Now exacerbated by the idea that he has a title, he has a family to protect, he has all that kind of
apparently
stuff.
Apparently a shrew of a mother.
Who is not going to take this well.
Take kind to that
and
at all.
And because before I don't think he would have cared. Now it's not just about him; it's his family, it's his position, it's his title. All that other stuff plays into it, which is why she's And let's face it, regardless of how everybody's thinking or opining about it, when it comes down to it, and she has the moment in the hallway when he says, "Please make me happy on my way to bed," and she calls it an indecent proposal,
which was great.
It was wonderful,
very funny.
I'm going, say it, please,
do it now.
Yeah, but no, she doesn't say it. She still doesn't say it. She tries to. I mean, even when they were walking in the garden, when she says things like they're sitting in the garden, and she says, "Look, things have changed now. You're not bound to me. You're free. You can go do what you want," and he doesn't want to. Right. Clearly doesn't. He still loves her, of course.
He doesn't.
And she doesn't say it there. No, and he starts talking about rank and responsibility, and I need you.
And that his mother thinks that, and I don't. But before that, he says, "I don't agree with everything that she says."
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I'm just like, back door.
Yes, I know, but he's also thinking that I do want to live up to the expectation
of all of this,
and I need your help in doing it. So
maybe mom is the funeral.
So then it's all okay.
But I mean, but when you're in that hallway and you're Edith, and this is the hinge point, and you gotta say it, and you don't.
Here's the thing. He's there. She says she loves him. He's like all glowy in love and just
take that as a yes.
Burn the mood.
I'll take that as a yes. She's wearing this gorgeous, necklace that matches the beautiful
gown.
Don't tell me you didn't notice that.
No, I didn't
beautiful
notice
outfit, and he says, "Let me take that as a yes." Why didn't you say? And Miracle's my kid. And anyway,
and then
let's get married. Never mind. Everything's
or say it while you kiss him.
Just
Miracle's my kid.
Didn't you know?
Yeah.
Let me make you happy before you go to bed.
Night,
yeah. That's why you said you'd marry me, because you wanted to you wanted her to have a father.
Miracle's my kid. What? What?
So
what?
At that moment, I was thinking you can't let him walk away and not say something. Of course, but that makes much.
Of course, she can.
Yeah, but she.
Yeah, you can't.
Because she's poor Edith.
And she did, because she's poor Edith. So if you are Julian Fellows and just trying to string out a story really long,
no, that would never happen.
And you are wonderful actresses like the gal. Well, everybody on this show is an excellent actor, excellent, superb actor. I have to say, I think Edith did a really great job of saying, "I'm not really sure," for several episodes without making it sound the same over and over.
She did take very
the pain in her face altered
a lot of colors with the same hue, slightly different tint. Yes,
good levels. Good levels.
See,
right? She did nicely.
Yes, she did.
Okay. Then of course she doesn't say anything, and we know who he is. I mean, I thought there were so many great scenes in this, but let's stick with the storyline real quick, because she doesn't say anything. The next morning, Bertie, of course, is ready to say everything. He's waiting for Mary to come down so he can announce it to everybody, because they have their good news. She's late. The first thing she says, "Where's Henry?" He's not there, so she's pissed.
Yes.
And I just love Lord Grantham. this feels weird and uncomfortable. I'm out.
I got letters to write.
Tag, he taps out. He's gone.
Peace out.
And poor Bertie's, oh shoot, well I was hoping
to tell everybody.
And then and this is when I think he does a really good job, meaning Uncle Julian. Mary's gonna tell. And the whole scene she's gonna tell. And everybody there knows she's gonna say something. Yep. And they're all going, no, don't.
We're all clenching our butt cheeks
collectively.
Collectively clenched butt cheeks.
Yes. And of course, and then Edith.
And Tom, like seriously, don't. You know what I mean? Like, he speaks what we're all thinking.
Yes.
I wish he would have grabbed her.
And then when Edith starts talking about, she can't handle, I'm going to get married, and she's just lost her man, and she just can't take. Shut your mouth.
You're pouring oil on it.
Now you want to talk? Last night you should have talked all over the place and told Bertie everything.
Don't get to talk smack when you haven't told the truth.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And you're just going, shut up, Edith. But
made it
no.
so much worse.
And it's all going to happen, but I don't care. The scene was great, and that's what I love about this is because
it was a great scene.
It's just really well. And then of course Mary.
And it was so
just the way she did it was so nasty. And then when it's finally out and the look, she goes, yeah. So
that look of satisfaction on her face was the thing. She had some killer looks this episode, but
so happy that it was there.
Pure satisfaction. Pick up the newspaper. I have done my thing.
That's right.
Horrible.
Smug. And then Bertie, class act just goes, well, excuse me.
I'm just going to go over here.
So British,
Very British. Love it.
It was very nice.
No.
Okay, but then I just love the scene after. This was first of all, I thought it was well shot. I love the shot. I love what she was wearing it because again, I'm paying attention to it. This is when she's saying goodbye or saying to Bertie outside. And they're having that conversation. It's like, why didn't you tell me? You didn't trust me, and you should have told me all along. And and it's just brutal. It's just brutal.
Right. The other thing I loved about that scene is that she totally took responsibility.
Yes, she did. She didn't try to weasel out of it.
She didn't. And
again, I'm going, great. Now, but you should have done that weeks ago.
But I was hoping in that moment Bertie was going to be like,
you know.
Yeah, but no, we can't do that.
Of course not.
No.
I mean, I knew it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but you want him to because there was a moment.
And then if he knows her, you know what she's been through in her life.
Yeah.
Poor Edith. That's why she couldn't get her dolls to do what she wanted them to do.
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up.
And he's kind of lived the same kind of life, being under the thumb of that mom. So he kind of gets. And there was a moment in the scene where the actor just took this look, and I'm going, oh my God, he is going to say something, but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
And I got, well, there you go, living up to the expectation, because he still has to, suss out what he needs to do in this position, because he's got a lot of things to consider now, which he never had to before.
Right. You thought he had responsibility before just being the
agent to the estate, exactly.
Or whatever. Yeah. The looks on both of their faces.
It was just
the sadness, because it was, this resignation of, I've done this and you have to do this, and so we have to do this and you have to go, and I can't even drive you to the station. That's how much we have to break it right now. It was so sad.
Yes, and I need to be somebody who trusts me, and I trust.
Which is worse. That made it so much worse. If he was I can't with your illegitimate child, that looks bad for my family, then we would be like, ugh, you're gross.
And it goes right back to one of the first things she says in the episode, which is there will be a lie at the heart of our marriage.
Exactly.
And this is and she knows that, and when he says it, you can't blame him, because that's exactly Yeah, and then she says, my life was just about to be
lovely,
wonderful, and I've just thrown it all away. And of course, it's like, yes, of course, because you're poor Edith.
That's what you do.
Could it be anything different?
Exactly. So it has to be that way. All right, but let's move on, because we have lots to cover.
Oh, we do.
So after that, then the first thing I love that, the way the scene they have Mary and Tom, and he calls her out. She's sitting down. She's being defiant.
She looked like such a witch. She was dark all around. She was wearing dark stuff. It was like the witch of the East.
And she's trying to play like, oh, I had no idea she didn't say anything. How could I know? And he just calls her out. Don't lie. And I thought it was terrific, wonderfully acted by Alan.
Coward.
Yes, coward. The whole thing is all bullies.
You can't stop ruining things for Edith or yourself. You ruined Edith's life today. How many lives are you going to wreck just to Smother your own misery. And then he says, you're a coward, Mary. Like all bullies, you're a coward. I mean, that was a heck of a speech. A heck of a fight.
I'll have the audience go, yes.
Go to her.
Yeah, it was wonderfully acted. I thought it was well written. And the energy in it was amazing.
Yes.
And, I think probably only Tom is the person that this could come from. First of all, because of their relationship. And second of all, because he is an outsider.
Yeah.
Who has come in and assimilated. Yeah. He's one of the few people who can show emotions.
And he is one of the few that's ever stood up to the family in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And, they've developed, obviously, this wonderful, complex relationship that's really is brother-sister, where you can tell each other. You need to. And if
How
you
do
notice,
you know that, John?
I have 3 sisters, 3 brothers. That's why. But what I liked also was that's true. So they had a lot of scenes where Mary would say her thing and walk away, and nobody would stop her.
Right.
And this time, she tries to walk away, and he gets right in front of her and says, "Oh no. You're the bully in this. Like all bullies, you're a coward," and then walks away. Which is what because every other time she got to walk away.
Right.
So I liked that they did those parallel scenes, so we got to see finally somebody's going to make her face this. But that wasn't enough, and it was great because it just set up the next scene between Mary and Edith, which was fabulous.
Right, we got to see a little bit of everything coming up.
Yes,
it was fabulous, yet still so ladylike of Edith. Like she didn't get dirty in it to me.
And even before, I'm sorry to interrupt, but so she's going up the stairs, and it looks like Mary's going to her room, and she goes, she decides, no, I'll go talk to Edith.
Okay.
And Edith even calls her out and goes, well, Tom must have said something because that's the only exactly that's the only reason why you're here. And then she has just great. And each time Mary would try to come back at something with, well, if Bertie was so.
Nope.
No.
Edith would stop it
about that
again, and just like Tom, where he stopped her, now she's getting stopped by Edith, but not by standing in front of her, but actually just verbally, but by her presence, stopping her justification, her rationalization. Again, I'm going, geez, Mary this is great. She's getting swatted all over the place.
Well, and part of it is as wretched as she is, which is why we love her. Plus, she's all beautiful and crap.
Everything.
The fact that she, we have to admit that she's kind of the love to hate her character at some times. Mary.
Okay.
Her coldness and her standoffishness and her superiority. And now that I've had that explanation, I forgot what I was going to say. It had something to do with the fact that, as a character arc, we're sort of revealing all of the, the reasons behind her coldness and her bullying and her cowardice, and it's
her
coming.
Stuck-upness.
Yeah, and it's coming down to this fact that she's fearful, and we're going to talk about her in a minute. But part of what I was thinking about is it's been a few years since she's been a widow.
Yeah,
she's always going to be a widow, but it's the sting of the loss of Matthew is a little bit in the past, and so I think maybe people feel like, you know what, she doesn't have any free.
Yeah, you don't get a pass.
That was mine. Right? I'm like, this is a cop out. The whole. Well, we'll talk about it eventually when she talks about her feelings about Matthew. But I'm like, but you were a bitch before Matthew, so. And especially with the Edith situation, that was long before Matthew was like the man of your dreams. So
that's the whole sister history.
You're just a cold bitch
or
most of the time.
Exactly.
So Matthew is what made you a little bit softer some
exactly.
of the time.
Because Matthew was able to bring the heart of you.
So who you actually are is who you were before and who you are right now. And hopefully wasn't Henry will.
Okay, but let's get to this then, because it was a great scene there with Mary and Edith and calling her out and
I know you.
Yes, I know you, and you. What is it? The nasty, jealous, scheming,
nasty, jealous,
bitch and all that kind
scheming
of stuff.
Bitch.
And the other thing was when she says, look, don't demean yourself by trying to justify your venom.
Yeah.
And then just get out and all this stuff. And she decides to leave. And then on the way out, she says, and by the way, you're wrong.
I love this.
So
I love
this
epilogue of this conversation.
Exactly, because the whole time she's been telling people that I know myself, and nobody, nobody believes I know my heart or my mind, whatever it is. And she's saying, no, but you're wrong. Henry's perfect for you, and you're just too stupid, too stuck up to realize it.
Yes, exactly.
And to have Edith say it to her I thought was just
amazing.
Way to go.
Do you think that got through to her?
I think so, but
it's all been
really
sort of chipping away.
Because everything was chipping away. What Dad said, what Tom said, but again, let's get to what really, for me, all those were leading up to the Violet and Mary's scene, because this goes to the heart of their story too, the sister story, because Tom of course writes the letter, gets the dowager back, which is way to go, Tom.
I know, right?
I want to read that letter.
Me too.
It was very persuasive,
very eloquent. Yes, that was it. So of course she gets back, and the first thing she says is, "Where are my broken-hearted granddaughters?" Way to go.
Grammys can fix things. They have magic wands. I'm telling you, they do.
They have magic wands, and that's why she has that cane. Nanny McPhee.
I only had one Grammy, but she had a magic wand.
Oh, did she?
It was like a wooden spoon, I think.
But. Exactly. I'm like, it's a magic wand or a weapon.
Exactly. Sometimes it's the same thing because it gets shit done.
Exactly.
All right, so that's so Violet comes in and has I thought the Tom and Mary scene, I thought the Edith Mary scene was going, how could it be? And then boom, I go, okay, forget it.
Bravo.
This is even better than those.
Bravo.
So much, because you finally got to see Mary crack. You finally get to see the cold-hearted bitch, and you got to see the fear and the pain underneath. And only with Grandma could you see it, because here, there's this unspoken thing. Because in some ways, I think Mary wants to be, beyond what Grammy was in terms of her stoicness and sternness, and the idea of the tradition and all that other stuff. I think that's what she lives to.
Grandmother. She's not Grammy.
Whatever. Well, she says she calls her Granny.
Granny, yeah. So Violet says, "Why did you do it?"
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the first thing, the look.
Why did you? I don't know. She was so.
We all feel that.
For those who aren't viewing this,
I totally got that.
Yeah, the expression on Mary's face about Edith. Yeah, you guys got that?
I totally got that, because you definitely have that sister that's like, and you're like.
I thought it was great. It was like,
happens
because we've had so much great dialogue. It was wonderful not to have it be in written language.
And that was a goofy ass face. It was, it was very
and it was
funny.
a very sister thing. And she goes, "There's just something about Edith. I say stuff and I can't unsay it."
So
which is almost exactly what Violet said.
Exactly.
And I'm just going, there's the parallel. Mm-hmm. So, and I just thought was great. And then for Violet to be able to get to her in such an emotional way, for her to peel back that thing to say, "Look, I just can't be another crash widow. I can't do it." Which speaks, because she's trying so hard to be strong and all that other stuff, and that's it. She doesn't have the strength for it. She can't do it.
Well, and being Mary, you have to imagine she falls in love with this man whose second love is cars. And you have to be Mary, kind of looking at the irony of it and going, "Good Lord, of all the things you could be,
that had to be that.
That is the worst."
Yeah.
And look at us.
It's the one that will make you face yourself and everything that's messy inside of you.
Yeah, because which is the best thing to have to face yourself. Absolutely.
So, and Violet says, "Here's what is."
Oh, but before that, I'm sorry, just because I wanted to get this part, she's saying, "Look, Tony Gillingham had just about everything. He had a breeding, a position, he had all that kind of title, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But he didn't have the brains or the strength to that equaled you.
Right.
And
he wasn't. And this man is clever and he is strong.
Yes. And we saw that throughout. So we'll get to their story time too. She goes, "So I believe in love was a thing," and it's like, because I haven't heard anything like that from Violet. I mean, well, kind of.
A little bit we tried to get, but she still went back to practicality with it.
Right.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did. She pulled back on it.
But then, as the grandmother, I think she realized, look, I want her to be happy. I want her to find some happiness. I think the only way she's gonna is if she releases some of that tradition and rank and because the way she laid it out is there's got to be some love in there somewhere, and this is maybe that only possibility for you.
So I don't know what the total quote was, because I couldn't get it. But when she said something about Mary being cold and selfish, but still wanting to be grand, and like they were trying to be, I was like, that was amazing. I don't know what the quote was, because I couldn't remind it, but it was something to that effect. And I was like, yes. She just puts it on display. Cold, selfish, ugly, all of it. And she's the only one.
And Mary says, "Don't try to talk to me about sentimental." But anyway. But she says, "I believe in love," and I think that kind of...
I believe in rules, I believe in tradition, et cetera, but I believe in love.
And Granny, you surprised me. And then, so I'm glad. So climbing those stairs wasn't a waste.
That's something
Thank you for
Grammy
cutting
would
the
say.
scene. Exactly. That was great. Cutting the scene with some humor was terrific. Because then you allowed yourself to even feel better and cry even more. Because, I mean, I was wanting to. After she'd been beaten up so bad, you really need your grandmother to kind of, let's put things in perspective. And first, make peace with your sister.
Right.
And then make peace with yourself. I thought was great because I was not expecting that.
That is some serious advice.
Because I thought she was going to then go get Henry.
Exactly. She didn't say pick Henry.
No,
she said
make peace with yourself. So stop fighting yourself.
Yeah.
Stop fighting your feelings. Quit going with your head and your position and whatever it is. Stop fighting. Make peace.
The thing that I keep remembering about Violet is that moment. Oh God, I can't even talk about it.
Okay, go ahead.
The moment where after Sybil's death, when she's entering the room, right?
Yeah,
she's entering the room and she has to steady herself, right? And and so I mean, it's such a the grandparent to grandchild love is so special because all of the difficulty is removed and all of like the shininess is there, and so her coming in as the person who can save her brokenhearted granddaughters. Because she's lost one, and so she has to not only save these two but reconnect these two.
Yeah,
so,
had Grandma not stepped in, would we have had the scene where Edith comes back?
And she's talking about them remembering they're the only ones that I can't. Okay.
Yeah. So John, this is where you need to talk. We're gonna have a drink of wine and then you need to talk.
I was like, jeez. I go, did he break out all the stops? Uncle Julian wrote some really nice scenes for these ladies. I mean, and they all played them just beautifully. I mean, Edith comes back. They're all so shocked. Can we have the room? They all scoot out.
Yeah.
Please, too.
Okay, I love the way she apologizes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't have to actually say it.
Yeah, that's your apology?
I liked it because it was so sisterly.
That's what I was
there's so, you're not going to, I'm not saying I'm sorry again. I'm sorry.
That's right.
I love that.
You're right, because that is how I would say it to my sisters. I'm sorry.
Well, you'd have to be or you'd be insane.
I probably have said that to our sisters, right?
She did finally say, well, I am sorry. But, it was kind of like a throwaway and stuff like that. But the idea, why did you come back? And and the other thing about, I don't know why I said right, of course, because you weren't happy and you wanted me to be unhappy too.
Yeah.
I mean, and
now that you're happy, you'll be nicer.
Exactly. But this is the one thing that I was thinking, okay, God, I wanted so desperately. The only thing for me that was missing in that scene, I wanted Mary to realize, am I that common? Does it really come down to me just not, I'm not happy, so I want you to be happy? Really? That's what it comes down to?
Simple.
I know.
They never do.
I know, but I'm going, that would have been the thing right there, because then that might have been really been able to change for her to come to that realization, but she's not really.
But that's what kept it in reality for me. Because she's what, 35 now?
Whatever the hell she is,
she's not.
And it was such a common thing.
Yeah.
It's like she thinks she's so above it and stuck up. And well, no, it really just comes down to
you're an asshole.
Miserable. Exactly. Your misery wants my company, and that's what it is. So, but I love the way that they redeemed themselves, especially Edith in that scene, just talking about how.
Because one day only you and I will remember Sybil.
That was like, I was done.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
and then to go on, our shared memories will mean more than our mutual dislike. I'm going, damn, if I could go through and count all the lines, I go, gee, beautiful line with Julian. I mean, great lines. And especially to have those lines between those sisters when after the last scene we had them there was venom like crazy.
Right, because the thing, no, I know. I'm a crier, whatever. We know this. But the thing is that it was very true to who they are, because for them to go, oh, you know what, it's okay, we're awesome, everything's fine. It's not. It's not true to those characters.
No, and because the way this scene when Sybil died, when they had that moment when let's be sisters like we should be, and all that other stuff. This was very in keeping with that. And if that wasn't going to change them, why would this?
No,
it wouldn't.
So I mean, hopefully, by as you get older, you'll hopefully. And I thought Edith made the best. I mean, because let's face it, Edith with Pamuk and the whole thing, she's no angel in this.
No.
But I think that showed such a level of maturity to come back, and the lines to say that because I think at the end of the day, when they're all gone, it's only going to be you and me to remember Sybil.
And she loved her sister where she is and who she is because she knows who Mary is.
Exactly.
And she took that and
she
even accepted it.
When she was talking to her editor, she was talking about how we're stuck in this, Cain and Abel kind of balance.
I don't know why.
Whatever, exactly, because you're sisters. But at the end, to show her at Sybil's gravesite.
Do you back up just a tiny bit?
All right, go ahead.
You look nice, by the way.
Yeah, there's that. Finally gave her that at the end of the scene. That was good. That was nice.
In your wedding dress, on your way to your wedding, whatever. You look nice, by the way.
You look all right.
Yeah, exactly. But she was there, and even at the church, I think she looked, in her way, I think Edith was happy for her sister.
She was happy for her, I believe that.
And at Sybil's grave, when she was watching the very last scene, watching the kids run around, our feed got cut off a little bit, so we didn't get to see the very
end. Yeah, no. But we had 2 great grave sites. We'll get to the other one.
Right, we'll get to that one. But, I mean, kind of accepting who she was and where she was, Edith.
Right.
And seeing the children and knowing that that's part of her legacy. There may be a little bit of a repair between her and her sister. And
a little bit.
You look nice, by the way.
That was
as far as I'm going to go.
Yeah. And there's joy and hopefulness in her future.
Yeah, there was hope.
Backlit with a nice little soft halo of golden light. And her dad just said, she's the one that surprises me and we're hopeful. And I'm like, oh, she's not poor Edith. I don't believe that.
But
bring me your cup.
Well, because of what she said, that's what I thought was great.
Take it.
Regardless of what happens, the fact that she came back and was there for her sister, the fact that she came back and said why, because the whole Sybil thing, I thought she showed so much more growth and maturity than Mary.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah. So there was hope for that relationship because of Edith.
That's that middle child skill. Just
there you go.
In case y'all don't know.
Hey, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
Holla, middle kids.
Right here.
we got to represent over
Except
here.
the crazies around you.
You're kind of a middle child too.
No.
In a way, you are.
I'm the 6th of 7. I don't know if that would be considered.
You're the second of the second 3.
All right. Well, we're moving on.
Anyway.
That's too complicated.
Because we still have so much to cover. But I want to talk now specifically about Mary Henry because again, Tom fabulous throughout, talking about this, just going on and on to her, going, look, would you, trying to get her to wake up, knock her upside the head, come to senses, and she's being so staunch in her position that you can't, and the more people are trying, the more she's just being entrenched.
So when they're in the woods, first of all, again, beautiful shot.
Green.
Wasn't that gorgeous?
Your envy and your nastiness.
And I love the way they framed it because they were kind of small and the frame of the trees were just.
We live in the desert. We don't see green things very often.
I know. It's so exciting. I was excited about the grass, by the way.
In the first
the meadow.
Right? That meadow, like the first scene with the tall grass. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, sorry, meadows, also things we only see in movies and pictures.
We saw a sagebrush.
But incredibly beautiful. And, the word that I used to describe Mary in that scene was despondent. I mean, she was just, going through the motions, because she had sent Henry away last episode, So... and she figured out about Marigold.
Right.
That was where she
and that's hopefully she figured out months ago.
Yes.
Right.
But she just let on. She just figured, it's like everything. I don't need to play that card yet. So and the way I love the way
scheming bitch.
Yeah, but when she plays it is to call somebody else out about being dishonest.
Yes. Because she's a scheming bitch.
Exactly. We call that projection. But she figures that out. So, and again, then she's going to hold it, and she keeps holding it and holding it and holding it, and just tries to drop the bomb when she needs to. When somebody's attacking her, she's yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay. So are we talking about Henry?
We're going to go ahead. Yeah, let's talk Henry.
So, Tom has his conversation. Well, Tom and Mary are having the conversation at the top of the stairs, and he's saying, get off your high horse.
Yes, exactly.
I've had enough of you. I am sick of you. You are enough of a sister that I can just tell you.
Yeah. Love you,
and
Tom.
Henry.
I think this fight's about me.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Of course it is, Henry.
Yeah, exactly.
So, his comment of I'm going to make this as hard and as horrible, is that right? As hard and as horrible as I can.
And he touched her, and I was like, oh, she's going to melt. No, she didn't.
Oh, no.
Ice queen.
Takes more to melt her than that.
Turned away, pissed off.
Right?
Well, and I thought, so much of this was great because it was nuanced. Because you could easily say it was just because, you're not going to tell me how to feel and how to think, and that ain't going to work with me. Right. But it's also underneath that is, get away from me. I'm scared shitless. Yes. Where this is going to end up because I do not want to be a crash widow.
I cannot do this.
I can't say that part because I can't reveal that I'm scared.
Right, because she has to come out on the offensive.
Exactly.
You're calling me a gold digger. You're accusing me of all this stuff. You've got a nerve, because that will just make him go. Most guys will go away. However, we've revealed she has found her match.
Her equal, and that he is strong, he's intelligent.
He is not a guy who's going to walk away.
Slightly stalker.
And I'm going, good. Kudos for you for standing your ground and deciding. But I'm going, why? Yeah. Get away from her. She's crazy.
Run fast.
Exactly. Because I was with Edith when she said, "Thank God we can be happy about the fact that he's left you." Mm-hmm. Going, yeah, good. Because I like Henry. I don't really want him to end up with Mary. She's not the nicest person in the world.
But sometimes he would regulate on her in a way that nobody ever has been able to.
Well, that's true, and we can say the effect that Matthew had. There is some, but as you just mentioned, she is who she is.
I think she is who she is, but he is who he is. That's right. Sometimes you need somebody that has the whip. She needs to not be the only one with a whip sometimes.
Right. So, and of course, he shows up just unannounced again.
Which, in her defense, if you just broke up with somebody and your mom and dad are like, oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah. No.
But Cora's great. Well, look, it's 5:30. Where's he going to go?
Her argument was fair. We can't be rude. But at the same time, if that was my mom, I'd be like, God damn it, don't you know I'm trying to get rid of it?
Exactly.
I got it.
Which is why I love the scene when she goes upstairs and she confronts Cora. So what are you doing?
What's happening?
Yeah, and they're all going, nobody thinks it's a good idea. But then but as soon as she leaves, Rosamund goes, oh, she clearly loves him.
Yeah, and I love how Rosamund's inserted everywhere. Randomly, while Cora's getting dressed, Rosamund's there.
Exactly.
Because she's recovering from a
cold. A terrible cold. It's so interesting because 7 years ago even, it would have been, I don't agree with this. I don't think this is a good match. There would have been all this pressure from above, and their society has changed so much.
It has changed, exactly. But I also think that these ladies are getting older.
Yeah,
we gotta get them.
We don't want to deal with this. They all.
Yeah. We gotta get them.
Somebody.
Exactly.
You have some money, Mary. Get married.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
And then we don't have to deal with you either.
Yeah. But I mean, this conversation of we don't agree with it, but we're gonna let it slide. Yeah. I think it's interesting. I just think it's interesting.
He's smart. He'll be fine. Yeah.
So then after she gets beat up by everybody, which is good because she needed to be taken down a peg of 5.
Yeah. Indeed.
So that she could come down to his level, because she kept talking about sinking to his level.
She said such dirty things this episode. Oh, Mary.
Okay, but then yes, they were horrible, and if you just took them at face value, you just go, God, what a bitch. But then you realize that's how painful and scared she was.
Yeah. That's right.
That she was willing to say those things. I'll keep saying horrible things to keep people away.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So, but it takes a lot to be able to see that, because you just want to say, well, screw you. Yeah. Fine, I'm leaving.
Forget you.
But at some level, I think Henry realized that there's something else going on here.
That's why he kept that marriage license in his pocket.
And certainly Tom did.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like a surprise. All right, so do we want to just get to that? Because we've already talked about all the other stuff, but the fact that he came back when he got summoned back, because after Mary makes peace, she calls him back, writes a letter.
She knows.
Yeah. What's that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I just got a tweet from Caroline, who she and I are BFFs right now. Her fervent wish is that Bertie's mum is played by Dame Judi Dench in the Christmas special. It's not. It wouldn't be because but I love that.
That's a great thought.
Because there's actually an appropriate aged woman. She's I can't remember her name.
Age appropriate.
In that age category, who could be Bertie's mother.
Oh, gotcha. Sure.
Matilda, I want to say. You Brits will know who I'm talking about. I can't remember at the moment. Anyway, it's not going to be Jamie.
Okay. Anyway, so we're talking about how he came back. He gets summoned back, and I thought, again, another great scene between the two, because so much was like...
The 3/2.
Oh, yeah, Tom's there, and again, he's going, okay, I've had enough of this courtship. I'm out. You guys take it from here.
I did what I can. Make it work. Tim Gunn, make it work.
It is up to...
Project Runway, for those of you who don't know the reference.
I leave you to it.
Definitely. So and just a great scene, just all the dialogue there. He's like, "Are you always this cool? I hope you are."
Right? And him talking about how can you be so cool because I'm like having palpitations. Is not what he said, but
later on she's saying, "I'm not a schoolgirl. I don't tremble." And he goes, "Well, I am." And he goes, "Okay, I know I said that. I am too."
That was so cute, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was cute. And again, and I think that's her too. If she would just get off
give it up.
Exactly, you could have a ball with this guy.
Yeah.
If you just get up. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it was a great scene. It was, and after all the other angst and tension and anger, it was good to see that scene. It was. I needed it. So go ahead.
And her declaration of, "I believe I have met my match," because that's really what Matthew was for her.
Sure.
He was the guy who could stand up for her, but always believed in the best in her.
He could stand up for her and stand up to her.
That's what I meant to say. Stand up to her and believed in the best of her.
Sure.
He could see her,
which she didn't often show.
What she didn't show to anyone else.
Yeah,
exactly.
He made her tremble like she was 20 again.
Exactly. So let's get married on Saturday.
Yeah, that was like, what? Wait, whoa,
Weird and thirsty. Is that normal?
Well, it is. I guess it is because she says England.
Oh, we need a bishop, and my cousin's.
Well, she was like,
good old England.
Should we go elope to Gretna Green, which is weird because there's a street named Gretna Green in my neighborhood, and I had an English buddy who. Doreen, who told me that was where one would elope to. It was essentially the Vegas of England. Okay. That's where you can elope to.
Learn something new every day.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, as a matter of fact, I happen to have right here.
I have a license.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to just get a license without the other person
signing?
How does this work? Like, I'm not married, obviously, but like,
who knows back then? We don't know.
Back then, like, where you just like snatch it up, I'm gonna hold on to it until like,
well, you have a time, you have a window,
and make her say yes.
You have to execute it by
within a certain amount of time. With the license,
like you will marry me. That was just strange, but entertaining, but strange.
Peerage has its advantages.
It does, because he's got a bishop as an uncle.
Exactly.
And P.S. the guy who did the wedding also had done other weddings in the past. So he's the local vicar.
He's the
local
bishop. Uncle.
I'm guessing, was he the
local
vicar?
bishop? I don't know.
Okay.
I think vicar is a general term.
Well, I know. Okay, so
very presumptuous, though.
Sorry, we're revealing our
they weren't ever actually engaged.
No, never were.
So he went and got. Yo, Henry.
He, it's called a presumptive close.
All right, do you?
He has.
Like she never actually said yes.
He may have to give him the card racing, but he might. I mean, he's got a really good job as a salesperson because that dude knows how to close.
Exactly.
He closed that deal.
He closed
that deal for sure.
Yeah, and she is. That's a tough one to close. So, but anyway, okay. So what do you think of the wedding?
Tom saying I've been the best man at both of her weddings. Okay, first of all, they both looked like beautiful.
Yes.
I'm talking about the men, Tom and Henry, getting into the car.
Top hat. Oh.
The stick pin with the jewel on it, like great looking. The boutonnieres. I just did a wedding recently, so it's all in my mind. But I've been the best man at both of her weddings. And Henry acknowledges you've been a really good friend. You've been not only kind of a foundational relationship for Mary, but you've kind of gone to bat for me a few times, right?
If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't have happened.
And you can pay me back by taking care of her.
Yeah.
He says.
Yes.
Good. I mean, just a great brother. Just a great brother.
Oh, so good.
Seriously. But not only that, but let's face it, Tom threw out the way he was with Edith when she pulled up to him in the car and he was just saying, and he goes, "Do you want me to go talk to him?"
Because I will.
I loved it.
And
she did too. No, but I love you for asking.
Reasons I wanted a brother, not two sisters. I loved that.
Tom, you got two sisters here who would appreciate your help.
We need a brother.
We could use a brother over here.
I'm not chopped liver.
No, you're not, but you're not.
John.
No, sorry.
All right, so and then the wedding, of course, not a huge to do because she's already done that. She doesn't want another one. But was it? They look good. What do we think of her gown?
It was good. It was
simple.
Her dress.
It was fine. I thought her hair looked silly.
You didn't like the pin curls?
I didn't like the pin curls.
Pin curl bob?
And oh my God, the kiss. Okay,
it was like
I didn't like it. It made her look. Well, I mean, I suppose she is a matron at this point.
She's aged.
She did. she's much more beautiful and glamorous than that hairdo is.
Okay.
When they were coming out and being...
the petals were being thrown.
And he kissed her, she was all one color. She is so pale.
She's alabaster, Tamara. She's alabaster.
Yeah, I'm sorry, alabaster, not
I know,
white.
and it's super desirable at that time. But it was just striking to me. I didn't think she looked bad. I'm not saying it was bad, but it was
shocking to you that she just
it was all one color.
Exactly, except the stark hair.
Melted into her angelicness.
And sweetness as they were going away, everybody wishing them well, and so
in the cart, and he's
you
like,
won't
"Now
be disappointed.
you have me. You won't be disappointed."
Adored.
I was like, I wouldn't be disappointed. You look so good in that hat. I'm great.
So we're pleased with this. You guys were happy.
I really wasn't looking at Mary very much. I looked at Henry, and
so that
I vote yes.
You swooned.
I vote yes.
Okay.
Thank God it wasn't Tony Gillingham.
Right.
No offense.
Thank God. Sorry, I don't know who that guy is.
This is a better match.
I apologize.
This is a better match.
But this one was. Yeah.
He's tall and he looked beautiful.
Okay, how long will it last?
And those eyes.
let's get the bets out. How long will this last?
Stop it.
When did divorce become a big deal in England?
Not during Mary's lifetime.
Not during Mary's lifetime?
No.
He'd suffer. He'd just cheat.
No!
He would cheat.
No, the way he will
Well,
cheat
maybe-
regular is with a car.
Even Mary thought that, when Tom was asking her about her marriage, she was talking about their marriage with Matthew, that we were in love.
Lose its luster.
We would lose its luster and all. And
I think Matthew would have divorced her.
yeah.
Because I think she is like perma bitch. Like, she's going to be salty person for her entire life, and at some point that's going to get exhausting. Like, so once the kids grew up and everything, Matthew would be like, "Girl, it's 1930. It's a depression. I'm gonna go to America and go be depressed there. You be depressed here."
Wow.
That's
okay. That's all right.
if Matthew stayed around.
All right, Courtney. So, but not with Henry.
How do you
the same
really
deal.
feel?
What do you think?
I don't know. Henry seems sort of. I think Matthew was like more the intellectual, kind, smart. I'm going to get you with my smarts kind of thing. Henry seems like, "Girl, I will cuss you out" kind of guy. So I feel like they would have I feel like they would continue to fight for all eternity. So they'd be like grandma and
so
grandpa.
at least there'd be passion
fighting.
there.
Yeah, there'd be passion.
Right?
So we'll see.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we have to get on to other things.
We do.
Yeah, because that was nothing to do
Oh
with
my God,
nothing.
we've only done 2 topics.
Well, that was the main stuff of the
That was
show.
the meat.
I mean, it was really about the
was the meat.
sisters and that whole thing. But okay, let's get to the Thomas thing because, I think on what was it, episode 2 or 3, that we were talking about how they were positioning. Julian was positioning Thomas to possibly commit suicide, and of course
Tamara
he makes the
slit her
attempt.
wrist. You were on it.
I did. I said it. I said it.
That was me.
We all said it. We all agreed.
I said
Regardless.
I wouldn't feel bad about it by episode 5.
But here's the thing that and I thought it was. I was surprised that Uncle Julian decided not to show, not the actual act, but the leading to it, the choice, the final decision, because so much of it happened off screen that I didn't think it was as dramatic as I wanted it to be. It's not that I'm saying I needed to see the blood, like the spewing of Lord Grantham.
There was more blood at dinner.
I know, exactly. That was shocking.
But I think that the thing that struck me more, because I agree, I was like, we didn't really see it. I don't have feelings. But what I felt was when the servants came in and when Baxter came back, there was a calm lovingness more so than I expected. Like, they were still very practical, like, we have to take care of this, we have to. But there was an energy about the servants that helped him that sort of made me feed into the story more than, because I still have feelings about Barrow. That, I was like, I don't want him to
I just
die,
thought it was, for me, what was missing was that moment. I thought it would have been very dramatic and it would have been really interesting to be there in that moment before he did the act. I didn't need to see the point where he's actually slashing.
To see
but just because
the choice actually happened.
We've been for weeks now. We've been going on about how forlorn he is, how alone he is, and that's been effective. Although it started to get a little repetitive for me. So I wanted to see that moment of just complete
despair,
exactly.
I would have preferred that over when Baxter realizes she needs to go back to the house and Mosley just is like, Barrow was nice to me.
Exactly.
As we were talking about something else.
Because the only moment they had was in the hallway when Anna says, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
Of course. Why wouldn't I be? And I'm going, but that wasn't. I mean, you're leading this whole thing, and then you just took that moment away from us, and I was like, well, I didn't.
Because he don't want us to care about him.
So in theory, the thing that set him over the edge was this letter that said, "We wish you well in your future," and he said, "What future?"
Yeah.
And
don't be silly me.
Yeah, right, because I'm silly. I mean,
yeah, I know, but obviously that wasn't the one thing. But there's a bunch of things leading up to it. There's all his whole history and everything like that.
But we watched him. We watched him prepare to do the poisoning of himself.
Exactly.
We watched him prepare to shoot himself in the hand.
That's what I mean. Those moments beforehand
those were much stronger.
Were fabulous, and I thought he did a terrific job when he acted those. And those were really powerful scenes, and I was expecting that because we had seen that. We know he's capable of that, and it was tremendously effective when we got to see them. And we got to see these.
I mean, this was my great disappointment of this episode, was that we did not get to get in there and really have a sense of his despair and his pain and his
because I think it
motivation to do that. Because that's a very significant choice,
right?
To make.
And you want to reach out and say no, don't. For instance, like the scene where Mary, she's going to say, we're in that morning room. We were like, we know what's going to happen. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't. Right. Edith, shut up. I want to be that room when he's deciding and I want to be going, don't do it. And we didn't get to see that. And I think for me that was a mistake. I would have loved to have seen that. I think it would have been more effective, more dramatic, all those kinds of things. And I think it even overshadowed the scene when Mary comes in with Master George.
Because you don't get the...
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't get...
Exactly.
I don't know what that word is because I don't speak English. It wasn't there.
Well, it's partly about the connection, and it's partly about the disparity between them. It's those two
the juxtaposition of those things, and his realization, like, my God, what did I do? How low did I sink? And the fact that would he be? Because I didn't even get the sense. Was he happy that it didn't work? Was he shocked? Was he ashamed?
I wasn't sure.
What? I mean, I missed those moments too.
Yeah.
And because we were spending so much time with that storyline and always ringing the bell, hey, look, guess what? He's going to commit suicide. He's going to commit. And then to have it not come into fruition, I just felt denied that, and I wanted that exactly, and I felt that way. Moment. I felt a little bit cheated of that because I thought again, like we said. He's done a wonderful job in other scenes where we've seen him make those decisions, and it would have been nice to see that.
Maybe it was too long, and
it could have been. It could have been, but
editing. They only had 72 minutes.
That's true, but we could have easily trimmed up some of the other scenes.
Yeah, there are things that could have been trimmed. Okay, but so the scene between Thomas and Mary with Master George, and bringing in the orange. And I can't, why did you do it? And he says, sometimes I just can't stop myself. And she said, I could say the same of myself.
It was a great parallel.
Right?
I appreciated that.
Right. Yeah. And that goes back to what I was talking about earlier about like all the layers of Mary being pulled away in this episode and us really seeing like the base of the foundation of where she is coming from.
Because we did a fabulous job of showing that. How many times did she get knocked around? How many times did she finally reveal? And I'm going, you could have taken one of those and kind of pulled let us see that with Thomas.
Yeah,
it was just a lowly servant.
But we didn't get to see it.
I just want to represent for some of our Twitter and YouTube watchers and viewers that some of them just aren't buying it about Thomas.
They're not buying it.
They're not. No, it's not that they don't. It's a little like feeling sympathy for Mary.
Sure, got it. Yeah.
It's, remember all the wretchedness that he has created in his past.
No question. Which is why I think it was equally, way more important than you've done that.
I agree, because I didn't feel, honestly, when he was in the bathtub, I was like, well, saw that coming.
Exactly. Okay. That's kind of...
I'm not that upset. I appreciated Mrs. Hughes and the concern and energy that they brought into the room afterwards, and that's where my focus went. It wasn't really on Thomas. And I got intellectually when George is coming in the room and all of this, like what I'm supposed to feel now. But it's like what I'm supposed to feel, not what I actually felt.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just think, man, that was such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because that could have been horrendous and just gut-wrenching.
And that was what we were kind of hoping for.
We were hoping
it was a dramatic moment missed.
I needed you to make me love him again. Yeah. Or at least feel bad.
But it was...
it feels sympathetic, at least.
did really like the parallel that they drew between Thomas
and Mary.
I think that for Mary to actually recognize that, too, I thought was a very good thing.
Which I really hadn't contemplated before all that much, but it's definitely
And he got his job security.
That's right.
Because we have a suicidal
being an asshole again, though. Like, she goes right upstairs, like, how do you feel about that, Dad?
Because you're the cause, Dad.
I love the way she did it. She goes, Cora says, don't bother serving us tea. And she,
I guess I'm
going to get it myself, then.
Exactly.
By the way, Dad.
Oh my God!
You killed somebody.
Right.
Okay, we got
Pat Moore-Hughes. Let's go to Pat because obviously we find out what the whole thing is. The House of Ill Repute. The little comic relief in this episode was the House of Ill Repute.
One of the things that several people pointed out was how comedic this episode was.
Yeah.
There was actually,
yeah, they had a fair amount.
There was a lot, So when the first time I watched it. Yeah. Sergeant Willis is there with Mrs. Patmore and Mrs. Hughes, and he's saying, it's a house of ill repute. And Mrs. Hughes was like, and you couldn't tell. My first inclination was she's laughing.
Is she laughing?
That was what I thought at first.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's also shocking.
Yes,
so you could cover your face for that too. But it turned out she was
and then everybody's laughing at it. Yeah, and everybody's laughing at it.
It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want this to get upstairs. Oh, Anna, let's go tell Mary about it.
Mary
immediately.
Everybody.
And let's just laugh and laugh and laugh.
Carson is just appalled.
Horrified.
How could it besmirch the family?
So glad we didn't try to do that.
So what I loved about this was how livid Mrs. Patmore was.
Oh, yeah.
About the whole thing, right?
Yelling at her niece. Oh my God! That was just great.
So great.
Just great.
I mean, livid.
Yeah, the whole thing. And then Mrs. Patmore and her, when she goes in to talk to the Granthams, and she says, "I know you. Should you really be part of this?" And he says, Carson says, "I don't think you should." And Grantham says, "Look, she's been loyal to us, and we should be loyal to her." And the reaction is just that little catches her voice catches and starts to cry.
She kept her composure. She didn't cry.
I'll take my leave. Yeah, it was terrific.
I loved it.
Even with all the comic relief and
even though she was involved in a tawdry local brouhaha.
Horrible.
And at that same moment, Carson was kind of called on the carpet.
Yes,
about time.
As he should have been.
Right?
Judgy.
By Lord Grantham especially.
The whole time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we need to show a little bit more backbone,
Yeah. Exactly.
So, and great little plan they come up with. I'll have tea, and that'll fix everything.
Fabulous. Because tea does.
It's a photo op.
Yes. Tea fixes everything. Let's just face it.
I need a bigger story to cover this one.
Yes.
Wow, this paparazzi there.
PR. Yes,
exactly.
important.
It's nice. All right, so it was great. I just, I loved. I thought they did just enough of it.
Yeah.
And
nicely sprinkled throughout.
Yeah, it was great. Okay, so and the other thing, the other storyline that I liked was just the moments that they had with Isabel and Crookshank and that whole thing.
Oh, Amelia.
Yes.
Amelia.
Exactly. Yes. I just call it Crookshank because I love that name.
Because it's a better
Crookshank.
name.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great name.
Nobody has ever been as rude to me as your son, as Larry.
As Larry, yeah. So, and no one has.
Nobody ever.
Yeah, and that scene between them, I mean, it was, again, a parallel scene as one with Violet and Crookshank.
Yep.
But what with Isabel is, in a weird way, more upfront.
Yes.
And not as scheming or as because Violet's a little bit
right.
So now I think
less double talk.
Exactly.
Less double talk.
She says, "I don't want to hear it from you. I want to hear it from Larry."
Larry needs to say it.
Exactly.
You can speak for him, but you're not speaking for him.
Exactly. So I thought it was great, and again, it's like, Crookshank is too bad.
You're gonna be with old Lord Merton.
Exactly.
Cleaning his diapers.
You're not gonna get your way. Your little conniving is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Everybody sees right through her, which I think is fabulous too.
Right.
So you know what? You deserve Larry. I think you'll be a great couple. You'll enjoy it.
You'll have a great time at the manor.
Exactly. And then even the last moment when Lord Merton is behind. I love the way he's behind the two ladies, just trying to get a word in edgewise. A little puppy following them. So I heard you talk. And Violet putting the button on it. Look, the ball's in Larry's court, and he must play it.
There's nobody else who can.
There you go. So just Lord Merton, shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah. And it was perfectly played by both of them. I loved Isabel.
Very lovely.
That's it. There you go. All right. Now, last thing we got to get to because we're almost out of time. But to me, this thing, so much of this particular episode hinged on Mosley. For me, Did you guys? I mean, And okay, but speaking to this, because we talked about they didn't do enough with Thomas.
Yeah,
we're worried about timing. Look how little time he had on screen and how effective that was.
Perfect.
Yeah, just amazing.
Worked.
And I love the parallel scene. The first time he goes there to teach. Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. And in classic Mosley fashion, underestimating himself, not really, living in the moment and rising to that occasion and stuff. He's just, kind of hemming and hawing and fumbling his way through. Kind of like when he was trying to be a docent and didn't quite, step in. Exactly. Because he has a whole lifetime of not being able to express and to share and all that other stuff, and not really have that experience. I love it. I thought it was perfect.
And then Baxter gave him the power just by saying, "Just tell them."
You tell them, which is what Mary should have. Edith should have done.
Yes.
So they won't have to find out.
Exactly.
So interesting too, because ahead of time he's preparing. He's sitting at the dinner
time
table.
schedules, whatever it is.
And I think if you expect a lot, you get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially treating these kids like adults, which in some ways works. In some ways doesn't,
but also not realizing he should say that by himself.
Yes,
I think he didn't expect that if he had told them what he was,
that it would be a connection as opposed to a deterrent.
Right.
And it was transformational for those children
and for himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
because
Daisy got to hear it.
But the way when he was talking about how he was, I've been in service, I still am, and I thought his authenticity was amazing.
Yes.
I thought the guy just nailed it.
Yeah. Right.
I just, because remember in series past, many seasons, he's been a bumbling fool.
We've enjoyed him. Edith in the basement, or where the servants' quarters are,
and he's been wonderful comic relief and stuff. And the way they've shaded and colored that character and arced him, has been terrific.
And he rose.
Yeah, he really did. Great. And he rose in being himself.
Yes.
He didn't have to try to do anything.
On airs.
No, just acknowledge what you are and just move on.
Mm-hmm.
And
the children were spellbound. He's a natural.
Yeah. And they applauded him.
And then Bates saying that,
and it worked. It wasn't.
It
wasn't sappy or anything.
I thought it was amazing. I was like,
this is why is this working?
Oh no!
Right.
I fell for it.
How many times did you torture substitute teachers when you were in elementary school?
We look forward to it.
Right. And then Bates saying you're a kind man and you deserve to have that kindness returned to you or whatever.
Be rewarded.
Right. Yeah. And
oh my God, yeah. And the way every time in those moments you can see it all happening on his face, and you're going, man,
are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good at
and
what
it worked.
they do.
It's like, and I'm going, how there's so many times when this could easily dip into sentimentality, and for some reason, for me, it doesn't. They just pull back enough, or they cut it just quickly enough.
Yeah.
So that really, really worked for me. And again, it's so little time on screen, and it's so effective in terms of reaching. The pathos was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loved it.
All right, so I know we're running a little long, but it was a long episode.
It's been a long episode.
So was there anything that you guys wanted to cover that we haven't already?
Sprat.
Oh, of course.
And the office and the ladies smoking and talking about negotiating, and I loved it. That's why I was fine with poor Edith, even though she didn't end up with her man. Right. I loved the scene with her and her new editor and that blue.
Because you saw a history there. You saw what could be.
You saw women growing and the future of what they're going to be, and what her dad, Edith, Lord Grantham, had just said, Edith being the most interesting person coming up, whatever. And I just thought it was so great. And then when Sprat popped up,
it was bananas.
It was bananas. It was so adorable.
Now, who in their right mind saw it? I wish somebody actually would have
predicted that.
Because that sounds like one of those crazy predictions that we ask people to write.
Yeah.
It's like, here's one.
Here's who
Sprat
it is.
is Charlotte.
Yeah.
I did not think that at all.
Is that what it is? Miss Jones?
Oh, no,
Cassandra
Jones. Charlotte. Cassandra. Sorry, I'm a name meister.
Cassandra Jones.
Cassandra Jones.
It was a banana sprat. We had a banana sprat.
Banana sprat.
Yeah,
nice.
It was. I just thought
after
that was
having
great.
Violet or Isabel or Violet just say he's a good butler, he should just be here.
Yeah, exactly.
He should just know.
That was wonderfully dropped in because I'm going, okay, something's up with Sprat.
Yeah,
but
where's Sprat?
But then I completely forgot it because everything else was going on.
So last episode, the dog was not to you, but to me was a great surprise.
Yes,
Sprat was a complete surprise. I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Sprat, I was
great.
shocked,
Because nowhere, because we didn't see him writing anything. No, I thought that would have been nice. Rather than doing the stamp collecting, it would have been nice if they'd just shown him writing letters, because then we would have gone, that's what he was doing.
They tricked us.
So several people said throwing the implausibility flag on this one.
Of course.
But you know what?
But that's what I'm saying.
Cute, though.
But rather than doing the stamp things, if he was writing letters that Denker kept trying to read, rather than the letters, rather than the stamps, we would have bought that.
Yeah.
And I'm going, God, that would have been great if you'd done that.
Yeah. Well,
lay that in.
Laugh.
And we would have gone, oh my God, he'd been laying that in for four weeks. He's been laying that in.
Yeah.
That would have
so
been nice.
we're going to suspend our disbelief on that one because it's delightful.
Because it's delightful.
Exactly. I completely agree. And I agree with them. It is totally implausible. And I still liked it.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So.
Love all the
Thank you for bringing that in, Courtney, because I totally forgot.
Absolutely.
Tamara, what else? Anything?
Can I talk about, do we want to move on to other stuff?
We got news and gossip, or we have shout outs? What do we got?
Shout outs.
We're doing
and conversation. We got that stuff.
We'll do that. Okay, let's move on to that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any news and gossip this week.
All right, so I'm going to talk Twitter a bit.
Okay.
So Caroline, who's Caribou London, she tweeted me an entire emoticon breakdown of the whole episode, which I died when I saw
great.
it.
Did you retweet that?
So good. I did retweet it,
that's
so you can check it out.
Caroline, thank you for that.
Yes, thank you, Caroline. It made me laugh and laugh and laugh.
I'm sure it makes sense too.
It does. There's the mortarboard that Sprouts, that Mosley's boss had. There's an orange. There's a bathtub.
Master George. Oh my God, that's hysterical.
There's. Oh crap! Sorry, I just kicked over the wine. We can't have that. Okay. Anna, my Irish buddy, personally, I think that for the 3 scenes with Barrow, there could have been more filmed.
Right.
But the orange moment with
Master George
was great. Oh, sorry. Caroline, also, this is a prediction. Mary will not marry again. She also says this is a prediction about Edith, so we'll just give that with a grain of salt. But she will move to London's East End and become a nun. 30 years later... Call the midwife. I love
That's amazing.
that show.
That's
you are
perfect.
a fan of Call the
I'm
Midwife,
a huge
right?
fan of Call the Midwife. Yeah. That's
okay,
great.
other tweets are not in my feed. Julian Fellows better sleep with one eye open if the Christmas special doesn't deliver. Team Edith and Downton Abbey. And this was
everybody wants her to have
Team
her.
Edith was trending last night.
My favorite.
Oh, really? Nice.
What is going on?
My favorite tweet of the night was, and then Edith killed Lady Mary. The end.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to Alex. Can't wait for the Christmas special. Imogen, who spent a lot of time writing to me, which I love. Okay, Kathy Reisler. In an interview, Jim Carter and Laura Carmichael, so
Carson.
Is Carson and Edith,
yeah.
right? I've had some wine. Said that the last shot of the series is Edith alone, and she has the last lines. Happy or sad? We do not know.
I buy her single.
All right, Team Edith.
In London.
Okay, Eric Tull says Downton. It can't end soon enough for me. The wheels
Not
started to come off
in
season 5. I guess I've been spoiled in season 1 through 4. Gonna miss you guys though.
Oh, that's nice.
You too.
And Nico Dov answered that one, which was all the characters of Downton Abbey should yell at Mary. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
She's very Scarlett O'Hara.
That's perfect.
Okay. So also Nico Dov. Okay, here we go. 2 weddings are Edith and Bertie.
Yeah. Okay.
And Isabel and Lord Merton.
Okay.
With Larry being disinherited. No funeral, although we could consider Lord Hexham being a funeral.
Sure.
Okay, so maybe that one covered it. 1 proposal, being Baxter and Mosley. 2 courtships, the lady editor, whose name we can't remember right now, and Tom. And then Daisy and Andy. 1 friendship, being Thomas with everyone. And 2 job offers, Tom with getting a job offer from Talbot, and Thomas with Lord Grantham, and 1 healthy baby, which is Baby Bates.
Nice.
Okay, so can I do a prediction?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, here's my prediction. Mrs. Patmore marries Mr. Mason.
Okay.
They hang out on Yew Tree Farm.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Hughes and Mr. Carson take over her B&B.
Okay, nice.
And they all live happily ever after. Edith is going to marry Bertie, period. That's,
you sure?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
You don't think Gregson's coming back?
there are people who have said Gregson's never been dead, but I
we
don't believe
that
it.
never wrapped up. Like we didn't have clear indication.
Well, here's the thing: you can easily make the argument that he can't because of the trust issue, and also because the scandal will be it's not something he would want his.
And I don't think they're gonna get married because whatever it was, I don't know. Maybe I fed into it, but her scene when she's in there with her editor and they're talking about, we call the guy, and the girl falls back in the chair with her cigarette. Like I see Edith as a different kind of woman now. Like she doesn't need that.
She's not going to be a Marcia Pesa,
and she's not going to put her daughter in a position to be less than because of some status situation that she's now in to be a married woman, because her love and appreciation and what she's had to sacrifice for her daughter is so important.
Here's the thing: there's no way Edith can lose, because if she goes Courtney's way, she lives in modern society and becomes someone. And
her daughter has an amazing life and amazing possibility.
Thank you. And if Bertie comes back, which I predict he's gonna, she will be a Marchioness or a maraschino cherry or a
Machiavelli.
It's a mark.
If just to go kind of meta, the most satisfying end for me with Edith is if she wins. And she wins by marrying Bertie, the man
outranking everybody
she loves.
But she does love him.
Outranks everyone and gets to do whatever the hell she wants because she's a Marchioness.
Cheesy and kind of goes against everything that she's always been.
Not everything. She loves
but him. That's true.
Her, to me, is winning at her own life as she is, not like falling into the fairy tale that would have mattered so much more to Mary. Because at this point, I don't think she sees.
But then she always gets to stick it to Mary for the rest of her life.
But she doesn't want to.
That's true.
She's already proved she doesn't want to because she could have not gone to the wedding and called her a bitch and moved on.
You're right.
She's a bigger.
But here's the thing.
I want to know what you think, John.
You could easily make the argument that she gets that and she does that, meaning Courtney's where I'm going to be the editor and I'm getting this, and then boom, I've moved on, and Bertie still comes back and says I want to, and that doesn't change. I'm still going to do this.
That's what I think.
I'm not going to lord it over Mary either.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun.
Maybe.
Because she's moved on.
Yeah.
And then it would be cool. And then we'd go, well, damn. Edith, way to
go. Has it all.
That's it. So why not? So anyway, that's
what do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to be that.
Yeah.
What I just said,
yeah.
Because I agree with Courtney. For me, it was enough to have her be the editor, run that magazine, and find her place that way.
Right.
Because it's not about the family. It's what she's brought on her own.
Yeah.
And what she made that magazine into because of who she is and what that example sets for her daughter. That to me was enough. But I was like, okay, let's throw it in. Let's ever get married too.
Right. Okay. So we have like 5 weeks before we have our Christmas special, which is going to kill all of us. Yeah. Real quickly, did we really talk about the scene with Mary and Isabel at the grave?
Did not.
Oh my God.
Okay, sorry. We have
real
to
quick,
talk about
we
that.
have to wrap it up.
We'll
We're getting the signal
we
now.
Are.
So okay. So I thought that was one of the best scenes.
The moment where Mary was saying, "Whatever happens, I will always love you," then Isabel saying,
because she said, "I came to ask for his forgiveness," and Isabel's delighted. She's like,
"I'm delighted.
I can't speak for his forgiveness."
Right, because
you don't need mine because I'm delighted. Oh my God,
there's that moment that you kind of forget that Isabel was
for so long.
Is her mother-in-law.
And Matthew's mother, and you just forget it. You just for me, I did it. And I thought, God, what a smart choice for Uncle Julian to have that happen at the grave, because it's just so powerful that because we've never seen Mary at the graveside. At least I don't remember seeing that. Maybe we have, but to have that there and to have Isabel in the background and just letting her have that moment with her son, and then to share that between the two people who miss him the most, who loved him the most, and to understand it, to have her give a blessing like that, to say, "You don't need my forgiveness. I'm delighted."
Yes.
I mean, that to me was just a melting.
And
of
her delighted was like full smile.
Yes. Oh yeah, like she held her hands to her heart, and so forget it.
And it was what we would expect of Isabel, because she's an incredibly compassionate woman. Yes. And the fact that she gave that to her was a gorgeous blessing before
Thank you for
the marriage. Well, we have Twitter followers to thank for that.
Well, I appreciate that for reminding, because again, we've had so much to talk about. All right. So we have 5 weeks. We have lots of things.
It's going to kill us all.
It's going to kill us all.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick recap shortly after the episode, and then we're going to be back on,
For
I think it's the 29th.
Yeah, sorry. Because you guys are going to be home with your families. We'll be home with ours. So we'll do it. If we can, we'll try to Skype something in. But I'm thinking it's going to be a very short one. And then
we'll do the full recap on the 29th, right?
Yeah.
So you can check Twitter with Courtney and I to get details on that. You can also check on YouTube. Yes. I will put the comments there.
And I'll do a pre-apology for the delay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know you're going to be bated breath, but we're going to do it our best because we all want to be together for it, and logistics are such that we have to.
And we do, to a great degree, are sorry about that because we so enjoy spending this time with you and reading your comments.
I can't tell you how Twitter sad Mondays are going to be for me from here on out.
And from my own personal, I'm so going to miss spending time with you guys, and I can't say how much I enjoy your company. I appreciate everything you bring to this.
Oh, thank you, John. Lord John, Lady Courtney, smile. Lady Tamara.
Courtney, please tell them where they can find.
I'm so sad. You can find me on the universe at Stuart Starling.
I am at Tamara.
Internet.
We knew what you meant. I am at Tamara Berg. My website is tamaracentral.com. Check out some stuff there, you guys. I'd appreciate it if you did. You can find John at Home Depot.
You can find me here next time when we'll be talking to you. Thanks so much again. We appreciate you tuning in.
Happy Christmas. We will talk to you guys in a couple weeks.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz your Christmas!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.